Part 1. What's with my wife? At 4 in the morning, Julian Song was jolted awake by a strange voice. Oh my God, I have to pee so bad. This bladder is more reliable than my alarm clock. He froze, his heart slamming against his ribs. Slowly, he turned his head and looked at the woman sleeping beside him. Claire lay there peacefully, her breathing steady, completely undisturbed. Who said that? It couldn't have been her. Was the apartment haunted? Ugh. I can't hold it. Can someone please just go to the bathroom for me? Fine. I'll go myself before I wet the bed. Julian was wide awake now. He was just about to reach out and nudge Claire when she suddenly sat up on her own, yawning as she shuffled toward the bathroom. It was her. It was really her. Julian stared after her, stunned. Was this the same woman he thought he knew? Ah, sweet relief. And I can still get 3 more hours of sleep. A fair trade in his presence. Claire had always been the picture of gentle composure, soft-spoken, elegant, perfectly restrained. Perhaps it was the nature of their arranged marriage, a merger between 2 powerful families. But in the years since their wedding, they had settled into a relationship defined by perfect, polite distance. Julian traveled constantly for work, rarely home long enough to linger. Their marriage had never sparked. It felt less like a marriage and more like 2 people who happened to share an address. That morning, breakfast sat neatly arranged on the table, prepared by the housekeeper. Jesus, there's no way I can eat all this. And if I eat too much now, I'll just have to use the bathroom at work. Don't blame me for getting paid to take a dump. Julian nearly choked on his coffee. Ever since he'd started hearing her thoughts, it seemed like all Claire ever thought about was underscore and peeing. It was starting to seriously ruin his appetite. Noticing his hesitation, Claire set down her fork. Is it not to your liking? She asked, her voice smooth and polite. It's fine, Julian replied, studying the woman across from him with a new, complicated curiosity. What a poser. I saw you take exactly 1 bite of that sourdough. Who even buys this artisanal rye bread? It's like chewing on a brick. My jaw is going to be sore all day. God, I don't want to go to work. Why can't I just be a trophy wife? Isn't my husband some big shot CEO? The constant mental chatter was giving Julian a headache. He wanted to tell her to shut up. But at the same time, this hidden version of her fascinated him. You don't have to go to work today, Julian announced suddenly. The company's taking the day off. It's Friday. What? Claire looked at him, eyes wide, like a deer caught in headlights. The last project was a huge success, he continued calmly. I decided to give everyone a bonus day off to celebrate. Well, thank you, Mr. Song, she said, offering a faint, polite smile. Oh, hell yeah. The universe provides. I was just going to go shopping today. This is destiny. Claire used to work at her father's company. But after the marriage, she transferred to Song Enterprises since it was closer to home. I'll give them this. The Song family treats their employees way better than my dad ever did. I was the goddamn princess of the company and still had to work until 10 p.m. Thank God for the late-night taco truck on the corner. The only thing that brought this princess comfort. Do you want to go shopping? Julian heard himself ask. You must be busy, Claire replied automatically. You don't have to trouble yourself. I'll just ask Chloe to go with me. Nice try, buddy. Don't think you're hijacking my day off. I've got gossip to catch up on with my bestie. Speaking of which, I wonder if Leo is dating someone new. That SLE bag is probably out there breaking some poor girl's heart right now. Leo. The name rang a bell. Shortly after their wedding, they had hosted a dinner for friends. Claire had drunk too much that night and kept mumbling that name. I'm not busy, Julian said smoothly. And I have a few things I need to buy anyway. You want to go shopping with me? Fine. I'll walk you until your legs fall off. Julian's right eye twitched. How could she be so different? Maybe she really was possessed. He might need to find an exorcist. Part 2. She is my wife. The car ride was silent. In Julian's eyes, Claire was elegant, considerate, and distant. In Claire's eyes, Julian was a nomad who was rarely ever home. God, this is awkward. The silence in this car is deafening. Are we there yet? Is my foundation getting cakey? I really want to ask him why he suddenly decided to come shopping with me. What's this weird vibe? Is he looking at me? Do I have food stuck in my teeth? Julian sighed softly. Since gaining this bizarre ability, his life now had a constant soundtrack, a radio station hosted by Clare, broadcasting every single thought. You look very beautiful today, Julian said, turning his head just enough to speak without making direct eye contact. Thank you, Clare replied, ever polite. Is he hitting on me? Of course he is. I'm irresistible. Julian frowned, helpless exasperation washing over him. Finally, they arrived. Handbags. Perfume. Here I come. Claire stepped into the upscale mall, posture flawless. It's going to take me a while to look around, she said. Why don't you get what you need, and we'll meet back at the entrance later. All right, use this. Julian casually handed her a black credit card. Oh, I couldn't. I can just use my own. Give me that. Come to Mama. Make it rain. Just take it, Julian said, turning away to hide the smirk creeping onto his face. I'll take this one. Wrap it, please. Thank you. Claire accepted the exquisitely packaged bag with both hands. Ugh, fine. I'll use my own card. It feels weird. Well, if it isn't the little princess of the Lin family. That slick, familiar voice slithered into her ear. It was him, Leo. The world is smaller than my bathroom. What are the odds? Claire turned to see him, his arm wrapped around a stunning, pouty woman. Long time no see, Claire said with a tight smile, already planning her escape. Long time no see, you condescending __. Back then, Leo had sweet-talked her for days, convincing her to lend him $100,000 to start a business. Money he promptly used to finance his dating life. When she found out, she told him to keep it as a lesson learned and get the hell out of her life. Her friends called her an idiot, hopelessly blinded by love. But Claire knew that, for a time, she had truly loved that scumbag. For a time, all by yourself, Leo smirked. Princess, why don't you join us? The woman on his arm bristled, shrugging him off. Babe, don't be jealous, Leo cooed. She was the one always chasing me. If it wasn't for her, you and I would have gotten together ages ago. What a leech. This guy's performance is so dramatic. He should be on an episode of Succession. The raw, unearned confidence would make Logan Roy weep. I really don't have time for your __, Leo. Suddenly, Claire felt a tall presence behind her. Ready to go home? Julian asked calmly as he reached out and took her hand. They had held hands before, but this time was different. This time sent a jolt through her. Thump, 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 thump. Yeah, Claire nodded, her voice barely a whisper. And you are? Leo frowned, his little drama fizzling out mid-performance. She's my wife, Julian said, his tone leaving no room for argument. And I am her husband. You see that? That's my husband. Damn right. If you'll excuse us, Julian continued, wrapping an arm around her slender waist and steering her away. As they walked off, Claire glanced back and shot Leo a look of pure triumph, leaving him and his girlfriend stunned. Thanks for that, Claire said, patting the strong hand on her waist. Wow, his arm is solid. A little tighter, and I wouldn't need to dye it. He could just squeeze me into an hourglass shape. Still, that was pretty hot. That's my man. My man. The words echoed in Julian's mind. He looked down at the hand that had rested on her waist, so delicate, so soft. He'd been afraid he might break her if he held too tight. Julian hated men like Leo, men who toyed with emotions. To Julian, loving someone meant giving your whole heart. Marriage meant protecting that person for life. His feelings for Claire were strange. When the arranged marriage was proposed, he hadn't objected. He'd heard she was kind, intelligent, well-mannered, and she was exactly that. Too polite. So polite that he never knew how to approach her. Only after hearing her thoughts did he realize his wife wasn't a placid lake, but a geyser waiting to erupt. His first impression of her had been built on missing information. When they first married, he'd been overwhelmed, a corporate crisis, his grandfather's failing health. He'd barely had the energy to eat and sleep, let alone learn about the woman beside him. Now, things had finally settled. and he wanted to know her. The woman who internally roasted everyone, yet never held back sincere praise. Maybe that was the real Claire. Dad wants us to come over for dinner tomorrow night, Claire asked tentatively. Are you free? Of course, Julian replied. Wait for me at the office when you're done. We'll go together. They sat in the car again. Silence. I really wish I could listen to some music. Kevin, Julian said suddenly to his assistant driving, put on some music. How did he know I wanted music? Claire thought. Kevin was baffled. His boss hated music. He'd once been scolded for forgetting to turn off the radio. Asking for music was like seeing the sun rise in the west. A pop song began to play. Accidentally in love. Without a sound, you slipped into my heart. I never noticed, but I accidentally fell for you. Her mind sang along. The melodies merged, striking something deep inside Julian's chest. He felt an urge to look at her. She was gazing out the window, breeze lifting her hair, releasing a familiar, faint scent. Ooh, that flower is so pretty. Ah, look at that cute dog. Huh. That dad just stole his kid's lollipop. Julian didn't need to look outside. He could see the world just by watching her. At the Lynn family home, Robert Lynn grumbled good-naturedly. It takes a formal invitation to get you two to visit these days. Oh, come on, Dad, Claire said, her real, unguarded personality shining through. We've just been busy. We'll be back soon. I promise. We'll visit whenever we have a time. I'm sorry to have made you worry, Julian added smoothly. Is that our Claire? Her mother's face lit up the moment she saw her. Yes, Mother. I'm home. And just like that, Claire changed. The warmth vanished, replaced by formality, almost mechanical. At the dinner table, a piece of food slipped from her chopsticks and landed on the pristine tablecloth. Her mother's hand shot out instantly, rapping Claire's knuckles sharply with her own chopsticks. Anna would never have made a mistake like that, her mother snapped. Why can't you even do the simplest things properly? I'm sorry, what do you want me to do? Claire whispered. She didn't mean to, her father cut in, irritation seeping into his voice. Why do you always have to bring up Anna? Oh, I'm sorry, her mother sneered. I'm sorry, I'm not like her. So now you're the good guy, she shot back at her husband. You just keep spoiling her. Her voice rose, sharp and shrill. All those etiquette lessons we paid for, thrown out the window the moment she got married. Is this how a lady is supposed to behave? I'm sorry. It's all my fault, Mom. It was my fault. Julian spoke quickly, trying to calm the storm. I bumped Claire's arm by accident. That's why she dropped it. You don't have to cover for her, her mother said coldly. She's been like this since she was a child. Nothing like our Anna. So smart, so poised, so gentle, so considerate. Then she pointed at Claire, her finger trembling. It's all your fault, she shrieked. If it wasn't for you, my Anna would still be alive. I'm sorry, Claire whispered, tears filling her eyes. I've disappointed you again. Get out. You can never replace Anna. Mom, Claire's voice broke. I've been trying so hard all these years. I tried to become her. What do I have to do to make you happy? What will it take for you to finally forgive me? Just die, her mother said flatly. Then maybe my Anna can come back to life. That's enough, her father roared, finally losing his patience. Must you ruin every family dinner? What happened back then wasn't Claire's fault. She's done more than enough. Maria, he said firmly, take my wife downstairs. Dad, Claire stood, tears streaming down her face. I'm going to go. I'll come back when Mom wants to see me. Claire. Dad, I'm going with her, Julian said immediately. Please don't be angry. Take care of Mom. He followed Claire out. He found her on the street, her small frame folded in on itself as she sobbed uncontrollably. Julian knelt beside her, handed her a tissue, and gently stroked her hair. I'm here, he said softly. I'm so embarrassed, but thank God he's here. It's okay, Julian murmured. If you want to talk, I'll listen. If you just want to cry, I'll stay right here. He took off his jacket, folded it, and placed it on the cold curb for her to sit on. Then he sat beside her. He's so good to me, Claire began shakily. I had a sister. She was gentle, beautiful, perfect. Everything my mother wanted in a daughter. And I wasn't. I was the one who got into trouble at school. The picky eater. The annoying little sister. Mom always said she couldn't understand how, after having a perfect daughter like Anna, she could end up with a thoughtless child like me. One day, I begged my sister to take me out to play. She always spoiled me, always protected me. She was so good. If I hadn't made her go out with me that day, she wouldn't have been in that car accident. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't become her. I'm sorry I couldn't make my mother love me. I love you, Julian said, turning to face her fully. I'll love you no matter what you're like. You're lying, Claire said weakly. You only love your money and your company. The words struck Julian with bitter pain. He hadn't realized that was how she saw him. That's not true, he said. The company is my responsibility. It was my father's life's work. And the money, I don't care about it. How did you know what I was thinking? Claire's head snapped up. She had suspected something was wrong. And now she knew. I'm sorry, Julian admitted quietly. I can hear your thoughts. I wasn't trying to eavesdrop. I don't know how it's happening. Holy __. So all the things I've been thinking, even this exact thought, he can hear it. This one too, she asked. Yes, Julian confirmed softly. And for the record, I think there's still a difference. Of course there's a difference. You don't have to answer that. Oh my God. Claire stared at him. Can you tell what I'm thinking right now? You're thinking this is __, awesome. She lunged forward and slapped a hand over his mouth. Okay, you don't need to say that one out loud. Her eyes were red and swollen, her cold palm pressed against his warm lips. Julian gently took her hand. Let's go home, he said. It's getting cold. Okay. About today, just be yourself, Julian added. I'm sure your sister would want you happy more than anyone else. As for your mom, I'll find a good therapist for her. Thank you. You're welcome. Once they finally opened up to each other, the house became much louder. Ugh, I don't want to go to work. Where's my phone? Julian, you're on my hair. Hey, I might be late tonight. Chloe asked me to go out for dinner. Claire called one morning. Okay. Be safe. Don't drink too much. Yeah. Such a nag. I can hear that, Julian called back, laughing. Claire made a face and spun out the door. Hello, Julian. It's Chloe. Claire's had a bit too much to drink. You need to come get her. Hey, don't call him. He's just going to nag me again. The background was chaos. Send me the location. I'm on my way, Julian said, urgency sharp in his voice. Claire was a disaster when she drank. She was slumped on the floor, clinging to Chloe's leg. For God's sake, Claire, Chloe groaned. I'm going to need this leg amputated. I'll help, Claire mumbled. I'm a doctor. Doctor, Julian said gently, smoothing Claire's hair. Could you help me with my problem? Of course. Saving lives is my duty. She threw her arms around his neck. Who's this handsome guy? I gotta get a feel. Julian flushed. Okay, you too, Chloe laughed. Don't flaunt it in front of single people. I'm out. You take care of her. Who are you? Claire slurred, grabbing his tie. Why are you prettier than a male model? Woman, you are playing with fire. Let's go home, Julian said, voice strained. No, not unless you carry me. He didn't argue. With one smooth motion, he lifted her onto his back. We're flying, she whispered near his ear. Their hearts pounded together. Wow, this airplane is sturdy. She poked his Adam's apple, grabbed his ears. Left wing, right wing. Why isn't this plane responding? His ears burned red. He set her down on the bed, but she grabbed his leg. Chloe, Julian is actually a really great guy. Wait, why does Chloe have 3 legs? Chloe, how did you turn to Julian? He tilted her chin up and kissed her. He's kissing me. Wow, he sucks at this. He pinned her wrists. He sucks, does he? This time, there was no gentleness. She gasped. Breathe, he ordered. He unbuttoned her shirt. Holy __. Hearing that, he only worked harder. Damn. He's been holding back. I can hear you, Julian murmured, pulling her close. So what if you can? So I can become a starving wolf again. No, Mr. Song, I surrender. Good. Now beg. This guy's kinky. Please. Not good enough. Then get lost. Fine, he whispered. I'll get lost in your arms. Such a clingy nomad. I was so wrong. I am not. I don't believe you. Part 5. He's so in love. The high and mighty CEO of Song Enterprises had become a house husband. They cooked together now, giving the housekeeper a break. That smells amazing. The praise arrived before the aroma. Let me taste. Coca-Cola braised ribs. This is delicious. Chef Julian, your skills are unparalleled. I shall reward you. With what? A kiss from yours truly. Do you accept this royal decree? Of course. He closed his eyes. She smeared sauce on his mouth. He frowned, and realized he was hearing her thoughts less lately. Is this treason? There is no punishment, she said lightly. No, Julian said, wrapping her in his arms. You are my most beloved wife. Claire had been swamped with work lately. Endless calls. Revisions. She'd asked not to be treated specially. One night, Julian came home to find her asleep on the sofa. She was so thin it made his chest ache. He walked toward her slowly, mesmerized by her sleeping face. His own mother had passed away when he was young. From middle school onward, he'd essentially been on his own. His father was always buried in work. Aside from the housekeeper who came by occasionally, the huge, empty house had held only him. Now, his life held her. And it was good. It felt so good to be with her. Love was an elusive thing, hard to define, but Julian knew this much. He wanted to be good to her. He wanted to hear her sarcastic commentary, see her roll her eyes, watch her smile at him. He didn't know when it happened, but Clare had quietly filled the empty space in his heart. He reached out and gently tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Afraid he might wake her if he carried her, he simply draped a blanket over her instead. That hot chicken place Kevin was talking about. I should try it as soon as this project is done. Is Julian home yet? Ugh. Why do I kind of miss him? Unfortunately, Julian had already stepped out and didn't hear that last thought. That smells good. Claire's nose woke up before her eyes. Figured you didn't eat dinner, Julian said, dangling a food truck bag in front of her. I love you. You're a lifesaver, she grinned, grabbing the bag and immediately stuffing a taco into her mouth. This taste it's from that place, she said, mouth full, eyes wide. You drove all the way across town for this? I was in the neighborhood, he lied, rubbing his nose. He even covered me with a blanket. There's no way he was in the neighborhood. Little liar, man. An ice-cold Coke would be perfect right now. Like a magician, Julian pulled a can of Coke from his jacket pocket. Okay, do I have any privacy left at all? She muttered. Maybe, she challenged. What am I thinking right now? Julian Song, I like you. Julian Song, I like you. Julian Song, I like you, he repeated shyly. Wrong, she said, a mischievous grin spreading across her face. Why are you so conceited? I was thinking. Julian Song, Claire Lynn likes you. He smiled, dimples appearing just enough to make her heart flip. Julian, do you remember the first time we met? At the coffee shop near the office. Our blind date. No, she said softly. It was in high school. You were a senior. I was a sophomore. Julian had no memory of it. I was standing outside the principal's office as punishment for talking in class. My math teacher was yelling at me, asking why I talked so much. I told him it was because I had to be quiet at home, so I saved all my words for school. He taught your class too. He told me I should give some of my words to Julian Song. And right then you walked in. I told him, no way. He's that handsome. If he could talk as much as me, the world wouldn't be able to handle it. When they set up the blind date years later, your name sounded so familiar. I couldn't believe it was really you. I was excited. I thought, let's see how quiet this guy really is. Julian listened quietly, smiling as he watched her act out the story of her long-ago crush. I still remember how you introduced yourself, she continued. Julian Song. Nice to meet you. I thought, this guy speaks in 7-word sentences like he's allergic to conversation. But you were a gentleman. Even when you didn't say much, your action spoke for you. Do you know why I kept acting like the perfect lady with you? You were afraid you'd get yelled at home if you weren't ladylike enough, he asked, frowning. Yes and no. I was afraid that if I showed my true colors, I'd embarrass you. I didn't want people saying that Julian Song's wife was some kind of... It wouldn't matter, Julian interrupted. Whatever you're like, I love it. Oh, you love all of it, she asked slyly. Even this. She grabbed his chin and kissed him hard. Julian's eyes widened for a second before he slowly closed them. Ah, my husband is such an innocent. She pulled back while he was still lost in the taste of her kiss. Julian, how many times have you been in love? Once, he answered honestly. Only with you. How many people have you liked? One. Only you. He pulled her into his arms, burying his face in the crook of her neck. I love you so much, he whispered. Maybe at first you were just a curiosity to me. But for me, it was love at first sight. The woman in the coffee shop with the radiant smile. I want to love her for the rest of my life. What about the me who thinks about underscore and piss all day? I want to love her for the rest of my life too. Julian released her. I'm a little scared. Of what? I'm here. I'll protect you. I'm scared that if I stop hearing your thoughts, I won't be able to understand you all the time. You idiot, she laughed. Even I don't fully understand myself sometimes. Then I'll just have to work harder to get to know you. Part 6. The jealous man is a terrifying thing. Claire had to leave town for a week-long business trip. Julian tried to talk her out of it, but lost the argument. He packed her suitcase himself, making sure everything was perfectly arranged. He wanted to go with her, but he couldn't escape the office, a fact that haunted him for days. During that week, he constantly video called and texted her. On the third day, he noticed a strange man in the background of her call. Claire introduced him cheerfully. This is Mr. Lee, the head of the project I'm working on. Can you believe we have the same birthday? Isn't that wild? Julian grunted, watching her smile brightly on the screen. A strange feeling bloomed in his chest. Just seeing her with another man made him miserable. She sent photos of delicious food and beautiful scenery. Julian replied to every single one. But there was one photo he kept zooming in on. It was the limited edition designer handbag he'd bought her, being held by a man. That same feeling churned in his gut. He couldn't take it anymore. He booked a flight, took an Uber to her hotel, and knocked on her door. Claire's jaw dropped. I'm coming home in 2 days. What are you doing here? He didn't answer. He just pulled her into a tight embrace. I missed you so much. She patted his back gently. Wow, so clingy. But honestly, I missed you too. Don't move, he commanded. Just a little longer. It's too hot, she complained, trying to push him away. He only held tighter. A knock at the door saved her. Oh, Mr. Lee, what brings you here? There's a small issue at the venue. I thought we could check it out together. The word together grated on Julian's nerves. And this is? Lee asked, noticing him. This is my husband, she said, pulling Julian closer. Is it okay if we both come? Oh, of course. Of course, Lee said awkwardly. I'll wait downstairs, Mr. Lee sat in the passenger seat, turning around to review documents with Claire. Julian radiated a low-pressure storm beside her, his gaze flicking toward them repeatedly. Am I really jealous over a normal conversation with a normal guy? Wow, he's actually sharp. Julian wished he couldn't hear her thoughts. You don't have to come down, Lee said. It just rained. The ground is slippery. Does he think I'm old? I'll go with her, Julian said firmly, stroking Claire's hair. As expected, Claire nearly slipped in the mud, but Julian caught her instantly. If he hadn't come, another man would have saved her. Thank God he was there. That night, back at the hotel, Claire collapsed on the bed. I'm exhausted. You shower first. I just need a minute. He turned back to help remove her shoes. I can do it, she said, embarrassed. It's nothing. Minutes later, he emerged, her mud-caked sneakers sparkling clean. I didn't know I married a domestic god. Jules. What did you call me? Jules. Is that weird? No. I like it, he said, blushing. She pressed against his bare chest. You're blushing. Let me listen. Wow, your heart's racing. Trying to turn me into a starving wolf again, he murmured. She bolted. Nope. Full moon or not, the wolf isn't biting tonight. She stared at her flushed face in the mirror. I tried to tease him, and now my heart's a mess. When she returned, he was already in bed. She watched him sleep. I lied earlier. I thought you were handsome from the very first moment. His arm shot out, pulling her close. You're not asleep. I heard that. How can you still hear me? Because you're not being completely real yet. How do I become more real? He kissed her forehead, her nose, her neck. Under his guidance, she took the lead. This is me. I'm bad. You like it. I like it even more. Epilogue. Mom, we're home. What's for dinner? Claire called. Your favorite Coca-Cola ribs, her mother replied, smiling warmly. After starting therapy, her mother had changed. She resisted at first, but after that night, she realized something was wrong and finally accepted help. Watching them reconciled and happy, Robert Lin and Julian Song were overjoyed. At dinner, Claire suddenly felt a wave of nausea. The smell of her favorite dish made her sick. You could see the hope sparkle in her mother's eyes. Thinking back, Claire realized she'd missed her period the month before. She'd blamed it on her chaotic schedule and never thought twice about it. Julian's fork clattered onto the plate as he stood up instantly, already reaching for her. We're going to the hospital. Wait, her father said gently, worry etched on his face. Let the girl finish her dinner first. I'm full, Dad, Claire said, pushing her chair back. Mom, we're going to the hospital. Julian knew there was no way she'd be able to sit still. When the results came back, the doctor smiled. 1 month pregnant. I'm still a kid, Claire muttered, staring at the ultrasound photo in disbelief. How do I already have a kid? Julian looked at her with pure adoration. Looks like we're going to have 2 kids in the house now. The moment they left the hospital, he dragged her straight to the store and bought a mountain of baby supplies. Things for a boy, things for a girl. Things they probably didn't even need. He was openly ecstatic. He knew how hard pregnancy could be. Without hesitation, he handed off his work to a trusted colleague and turned himself into a full-time husband, handling everything so she wouldn't have to. One afternoon, while Claire was eating a plate of shrimp he'd cooked for her, she suddenly frowned. Her stomach hurt. Panic flashed through him for a split second, but he forced himself to stay calm. He helped her wash her hair, grabbed the pre-packed hospital bag, and got them moving. A child born from love has the loudest cry. Outside the delivery room stood Claire's parents and Julian. A new figure soon joined them, Julian's father, who had booked a flight the moment he heard the news. Mother and daughter are both healthy and safe. All 4 of them released the breath they'd been holding. When Claire was wheeled out, the first thing she asked was, "Who does she look like?" "She looks like you," her father said proudly. "So beautiful, high nose, big eyes." "Dad," Claire said, rolling her eyes. Her eyes aren't even open yet. Everyone crowded around. After making sure Claire was okay, they all leaned in to coo over the baby. "You did great, wifey," Julian said. The words sounded adorably awkward coming from him. "Don't make me laugh," Claire groaned. "My stitches hurt." "What's funny?" "I'm being serious." "That's exactly why it's funny. Have you picked a name yet?" Julian's father asked. "How about Sophie?" Julian said proudly. "Song and you." He'd seen a TikTok about naming kids like that to show love for your wife. "That's so cheesy," Claire scoffed. "Let's call her Claire, Junior. You got that from the internet too, didn't you?" Julian frowned. "No. I asked ChatGPT," Claire said, grinning. Seeing how unreliable the 2 of them were, Claire's mother sighed and decided she'd have to be the responsible one. "How about Clara?" Julian suggested. "It's a mix of our names." Claire smiled. "Okay, I like that. Clara it is." Baby Clara inherited Claire's personality and then amplified it. Claire thought she talked a lot, but her daughter was on an entirely different level, babbling nonstop. When it came time to decide whether she should say Dada or Mama first, the couple quickly agreed. "It has to be Dada," Claire said. "That way, whenever she needs something, she'll go bother you." Julian often found himself laughing at the sight of Claire sneaking teething crackers from the baby. "That's for the baby," he said. "I'll buy you something else." "Food always tastes better when it's someone else's," she replied smugly. "You wouldn't get it." "Right on cue," Little Clara crawled over and planted a wet kiss on Claire's cheek. Julian leaned in and kissed her too. After all, someone else's food always tastes better. With a child in the house, everything felt louder and livelier. Claire's mother moved in to help care for the baby. When it came to whether the child should love mommy or daddy more, they were, once again, in complete agreement. You have to love mommy more, Claire told her daughter seriously. Because mommy is amazing. Just a little more than daddy. Okay, Julian said solemnly, dangling a toy in front of Clara, as if she understood. The little girl toddled over and wrapped her arms tightly around Claire's leg. As stories like this often do, theirs didn't end there. Before long, they welcomed a second child. A boy. Julian somehow managed to become jealous of his own son. He secretly stole the baby's toys and snacks. Don't ask why the second baby didn't get a proper name. Julian just called him Junior. Surprisingly, the siblings got along wonderfully. They'd expected endless fights, but Junior had a special talent for winning over his big sister. One afternoon at the park, Julian and Claire sat on a bench watching their son and daughter play. How long until they start fighting? Claire asked. 10 minutes, Julian replied confidently. 5, she countered. What's the wager? A trip to that hot chicken place. Huh, that's too easy, he said. You name the stakes. She pretended to think. The bet is that we stay in love like this for the rest of our lives. A moment later, their children began squabbling. See? I win, Julian said, pointing. They both burst out laughing and ran over to break it up. One lollipop each solved the crisis instantly. Here, Julian said, handing them over. 1 becomes 2. Don't be sad about the hot chicken, Claire said, rolling her eyes. I'm not that obsessed with food. Habit, he replied. So, he asked softly, will you love me for the rest of your life? Of course, Mr. Song. I haven't heard your thoughts in a long time, he said. That's because, Claire replied, smiling, you already know me better than I know myself. Claire Lynn, he said gently, I feel like saying I love you 1,000,000 times still wouldn't be enough. Then say 1,000,001. They looked at each other and smiled. The end.